Welcome to Otaku Stroll, presented by Nerds and Beyond. I'm Lindsay.
I'm Katie, and today we'll be talking to Kira Buckland, a voice actress that you probably know from Demon Slayer as Mitsuri, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure as Jolene, or Genshin Impact as Kuki Shinobu. We'll be talking about her experience as a voice actress, her experiences as a Genshin player, and everything you want to know about being a DeLorean owner. Stay tuned.
I wear a mask because I don't want to be recognized by anybody. I'm Kuki Shinobu, deputy leader of the Arataki gang.
Shouldn't take long. Love breathing firstborn. Shivers. A first love.
I can do it American style. Or how about French style? Japanese style work? And of course, Italian Naples style.
Hi, Kira. Thank you for joining us today.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
How are you doing?
I'm doing great. How about you two?
Not bad, not bad.
Good, good. It's hot here. It's like the first hot day of the year.
So I guess to get started, we wanted to chat about your work as a voice actor.
Yeah, sounds great.
So your resume has a diverse mixture of both video game and television work. So as a voice actor, what are some of the biggest differences that you have experienced behind the scenes, working on one versus the other?
I would say a lot of it has to do with how we record it. So I do a lot of anime. I don't do a lot of original animation. Most of the shows and films and stuff I've done have been originally recorded in another language, usually Japanese, and then we go in and do the English version. So with that, it's actually really challenging because you have two parts of your brain that have to be fully engaged. So you have the acting performance side, which we all know, and then you have the technical side, which is also really important because you can have a great performance that you're proud of, that everyone loves, but if it doesn't fit the mouth, then it's not going to work. So it's a lot of trying to act and have this believable performance within the constraints of the animation is already finished, we have to match what's exactly there. Whereas with video games, sometimes we have that. Sometimes we have to match specific timing, usually not mouth flaps, but if it's like a cutscene, we might. But a lot of times, I think there's a little bit more leeway on pacing. And then the flip side is a lot of times we don't know what the visuals are going to look like. So I've definitely had it where I recorded for a game, and then when we see what the character's expression looks like or something in the final, it doesn't quite fit. So, I like having with anime, I like that I have the visuals there. I can see everything that's going on in the scene. But with games, I like that I have a little more freedom to not have to match every word exactly to a preset timing.
When it comes to recording for a new role, especially like when you don't have the visual to watch, do you have any must things that you have to do to connect with the character?
A lot of it comes down to you sort of end up speed running the process, I guess, because this is one of the reasons I always tell people who are looking to get into this to take acting training, like fundamental scene study class, like basically learn how to break down a script and do like all that work where you figure out like, what's your character's motivation? Who are you talking to and stuff? Because when we're actually doing it, it's all cold reading. So you don't have the time or the luxury of being like, okay, let me like sit down and analyze this. You're just kind of expected to go. So if you have that training already in your wheelhouse and you can like really quickly kind of be like, okay, this is what's going on, this is what I'm doing, it has to happen so fast when you're in actual sessions. And auditions are mostly self-recorded these days, so you have a little bit more time where you get to kind of think, okay, what am I going to do with this? But a lot of times you don't really get that much information, especially for games now, because everything is so confidential. Sometimes you don't even know what the character looks like, what you're auditioning for, so you don't even know like the genre of the game, and that affects the performance. And you might just have a handful of lines that are out of context, so you don't know what you're responding to. So if I am teaching in a workshop, the trick that I give students is I say, well, if you don't know what you're responding to because you're not given the context in an audition, make it up, because if you are responding to something, even if it's not the right thing, it's going to sound more engaged and believable.
So, Kira, when you are working on, jumping back and forth between projects and when you're revisiting a character, how do you keep track of the library of voices in your head? Like, do you have certain words that you kind of go to get you jump started into a character?
The nice thing is that they play us reference. So, especially if it's something we recorded years ago. And most of the time, I can pretty much remember, like, if it's a bigger character that I've played or, something that's personally special to me, I can immediately think, like, okay, this is what Jolene sounds like. This is what Mitsuri sounds like. This is what Shinobu sounds like. But, if it's something that it's like maybe we had one session for and it was 5 years ago or something, it's not always going to be there. So thankfully, they pull up references at the beginning of each session, and then we just kind of listen and repeat a few lines, so that helps kind of be sure that we're in the right parameters for the character, because especially if we're doing multiple sessions a day and doing stuff all over the place, it's, we want it to sound consistent.
So when you're doing anime in particular, do you like to jump ahead in the manga? I know you read some because I saw that you were a big JoJo fan and you got the role that you wanted
Yes.
from that one. So do you tend to read all of your manga ahead of time, or is it just...
No, JoJo is kind of the exception because it was something that I was really personally into as like a fan, as a consumer. I would say most of the time I don't have time.
Yeah.
I've had a few instances where like for example, I think it was when I was working on Magia Record, I knew that the Madoka franchise in general was something really important to a lot of people. So like I did my homework, I watched some of the dub of the original series to kind of get, the general style of how they did the show in English. Watched a little bit of the Magia Record in the Japanese to kind of see like, okay, this is what I had, because there's a lot of complex stuff going on, and as the lead character in that, I feel like I have to be able to know all of that. So yeah, if it's something like that, or for Yashahime, that was a similar situation where I sometimes did watch episodes ahead, because it's like, okay, this scene is coming where I turn into this gigantic flying demon creature, and I need to vocally prepare for that too. But most of the time I just kind of go in. Thankfully, the voice directors give us the context for, okay, here's what happened before your character comes on screen.
Mm-hmm.
So, Kira, if you had the opportunity to join any television series or game series, or role, big or small, and you wouldn't be taking a role from any colleagues, what would it be?
Oh, see, my go-to was always Jolene from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Like for literally 8 years, it's like I would say that every time someone asked me. And now that that's real, so I have a few. Jem from Jem and the Holograms, Dizzy from Guilty Gear, Asuka from Evangelion, Princess Peach, Princess Zelda, anybody in like Honkai Star Rail, because I've been playing that recently. Any cat characters.
All right. Okay, I was like lurking through your social media before we started. Let's make it weird. No. And I saw that you own a DeLorean.
Yeah.
I was hoping that you would kind of take us on a cliff noted or however long you want journey of just this adventure.
I would love to, and what an adventure it has been. Not in the best way necessarily.
I saw
I
it,
love
yeah.
it. Yeah, I'm very, I saved up all year last year for it. I got really, really fortunate because one of my characters got a Funko Pop, and, the collector's market for that is really something else. So that's kind of what enabled me to save up for this. But, I did my research, which everybody says to do online in DeLorean groups and stuff. They're like, you got to do your research, get a car that's been taken care of, good condition, not something that's been sitting outside for years and has a rusted frame, all this kind of stuff. Somebody even gave me a book at a convention about like the buyer's guide and what to look for. So I ended up buying through a private seller on Facebook Marketplace. And that was really good because he knew the entire history of a the car. He had like 100-page binder of everything that he and the previous owner had done to it, because I'm only the third owner. But I had a lot of really, really bad luck after I bought. So even though I bought a car in good condition and, well documented and all that, just like a string of bad luck events kind of happened. Like, for example, the head gasket blew, which is like a huge major engine repair. So, turns out some of the places that I found that would look at it, because it's really hard to find people who can work on those. So parts and labor are super expensive and can be hard to find. Oh man, I guess they just didn't do some things correctly, unfortunately. And so when it had more problems after extensive body repairs and extensive engine repairs, I finally just took it to like DeLorean Motor Company headquarters, which is about an hour and a half away from me, and was like, hey, I am at a loss at this point, and went over what was done, and they're like, yeah, there's a lot of issues here and things that were messed up and weren't done correctly, and all that. So it's like still there. I don't know, like I bought it in September. I've been able to drive it like 10 times total. It's I'm so sad. Like I really want it to be in working order so I can actually enjoy it and show it off.
Yeah.
Because you're gonna take it like kind of around to, are you gonna like take it around to shows and maybe some conventions that maybe you're not signing at?
Well, I kind of had a sad experience because I took it to a car show, and that's where everything kind of broke down the last time. And so it was very embarrassing because I like had to get it towed from there, and people started laughing at me, and I was like, oh, kill me. But but I did take it around to some of the landmarks in LA. Like I took it to Marty's house, and people came out and were like, "Wow," and stuff like that. So yeah.
Well, I hope you can get it back on the road soon.
Yeah, and hopefully I can take it to, they do a meetup at Twin Pines Mall every year, and I'd love to take it there. There were like 10 DeLoreans that showed up last year.
Oh, that's so fun.
Awesome.
I didn't even know that there was like a headquarters for these things. That's so cool.
Yeah, I'm glad that there is, because they're such unique vehicles that it's like you need specialists for them. The downside is that, then you kind of have to pay whatever the going market rates are, but just eternally saving up for repairs.
Hey, but if you love it, it's worth it.
I do, yeah. I mean, I still, despite all I've been through with it, I don't regret buying it. I just hope that a lot of this will come to an end soon, and it'll just be little baby repairs here and there.
Well, on a lighter note, Kira, you've done some cool cosplays before. What are some of your favorites that you've done?
Always liked doing Jolene. I cosplayed as my Genshin Impact character. That was fun. Sometimes I just do like cosplays for fun with my friends. Last year, me and a few friends cosplayed a Chainsaw Man group. So of course I did Power, because that's like a character that I relate to heavily. So, I'm trying to think who are some of my other. Of course, I cosplayed Asuka. I cosplayed Gem. I've definitely cosplayed like other characters I've voiced too. Like I did Mary from Kakegurui. I sort of did like a casual Mitsuri. I haven't done a full one. I've cosplayed 2B. I don't get to like do as much as I'd like anymore because I lack body confidence, but doing my best.
That's why I have never done. So I hear you there. Speaking of Mitsuri, the new season is out, or it will be out when this publishes. We've seen the first episode because we both went to the movie theater.
Yeah.
And it's so fun. It's so great. I actually think you're on my TV downstairs right now. I'm pretty sure my 7-year-old has it on. And as I was getting ready, I heard Mitsuri down there.
Oh, that is so sweet. Yeah, I meet so many like little adorable children at conventions who are like, "You're my favorite." But
in like the most shocking turn of events, Sanami Shinazugawa is her favorite. And I was like, because she's 7, but she was able to read this manga So she like saw everything that kind of goes down and later on, and when he gets his moment to shine or whatever, and I was like, really?
I
Like,
mean, let's be real.
Wow.
Her favorite Genshin character is Xiao. So
is
she likes
Zhao.
them
Okay.
she likes when they're like mean. Clearly.
Yeah.
I know, and I was
To
like
be
a
fair,
little
I kind of
concerned.
like that too.
Like, and she also loves Cloud from Final Fantasy VII, and I'm just like, okay, like you really are like you have like a subtype here at 7 years old. I
Better
don't know
bet
how
her
to deal with it.
boyfriend's when she's older.
I know, I have to be careful. But Mitsuri is such a loved character, pun intended, I guess. She's kind of the embodiment of like soft and kind, but strong and deadly. And you do such a good job bringing that to life. So, what was it like creating that blend of both sides of her?
That is actually one of the things that I love about her, that I feel like she shows that it's okay to be feminine and be girly and romantic and all these kinds of things, but still be really strong and
Mhm.
strike fear in your opponents and all that. So I just love, I also love how as we got to see more of her, I feel like she's very unapologetically herself, which is something that I really resonate with and love about her. And I really love just getting to do her combat sequences. I mean, she had a mix of those and the funny moments. Like, I love the moments where she's kind of acting like a big sister to Nezuko. I just think that's
Mhm.
so sweet. Um, I don't know, just the animation is so gorgeous in the recent seasons.
Oh yeah, that's like definitely one of my favorite like just animations. It's so
So
beautiful all the time.
I was blown away too by this, like the first episode of the new season. Just being able to see it in the theater too, like they they went hard.
I
Like,
actually kind of have a funny story about about seeing it in the theater.
yeah.
So, was trying to get a bunch of the cast together to see it because the last time they did a kind of like a 3 episode theatrical arc thing, I saw it by myself because I was like in the middle of doing conventions and it was just like, okay, this one late night showing after work I can do or something. So I ended up just going on my own. But this time I was like, it'd be fun to go with some of my castmates. So I kind of made a group chat and was like, hey, anybody want to see this with me? What days, what times would work for everyone? Finally found like a day that would work for everyone, but most places weren't doing dub showings, which was frustrating. So finally
Yeah.
found something. Turns out only like 4 people were able to make it, but I appreciate it.
Oh,
Zach Aguilar was one of them, Tanjiro, and
Oh,
he actually got carded because they didn't know if he was over 17. And it's like, oh, if only they knew he was the voice of the main
do you
character.
know who he is? Poor guy.
I mean, he does look really young. I met him last year, and like I don't know how old he is really, but I mean, he does look
Youthful.
like a little guy.
He does. It's gonna blow your mind if you hear his other character in Genshin, not Ether.
Yes.
I was like,
Wait, he has
what?
another
Ether,
one?
like that voice?
Yes.
Yeah, one
He
of
was
the
in
Adepti.
A sigil of permission. Many a season has passed since one was last in the presence of such an item. He before you is the mighty and illuminated Adeptus, Moon Carver. Speak, traveler. What business have you here?
Yeah. Was it during the Lantern Rite?
I
That
think
Really?
so.
yes,
Mhm.
it does not sound
Like, look it
anything
up because it's gonna blow your mind. Like,
It's a
wow,
light-
that range.
I'm sitting here and I've got like 400 hours logged in this game, and I had no idea that he played anyone
I
else.
think it was Moon Carver. I think that was the name. Don't nobody kill me if it's not.
No, I
Right
mean I don't
one.
remember either. Oh my god,
um
that's blown my mind. I'm gonna be like sitting with this for a minute.
running to look it up immediately. So Mitsuri and Obanai are the perfect unlikely pair, and Obanai is my favorite Demon Slayer character. If their circumstances were different, what do you think their perfect date would be?
Well, Mitsuri loves to eat, so I feel like it would be super cute if he took her somewhere and treated her to like all the food she wanted and be like, yeah, you can have like as many bowls of ramen as you want or, whatever. And then they go and they have little desserts like the little mochi or dango or something and stroll in the park under cherry trees. I don't know. I just feel like that would be really cute.
It would, especially because like didn't like her fiance like shame her for how much she was eating.
I
And
think so.
so she deserves to just have Obanai take her around and let her eat whatever she wants.
I also found out that in one of the manga, there's a little note that Mitsuri has cats, which I really, really love as a cat parent. So I I would love
That's
maybe
like a
like they go to a
grad,
cat
like, character guide.
cafe.
I took a look. Like I had the little character guide. I wonder if it's in there. I'm about to look. My mind's getting blown left
I
and
think
right.
it said she has 4 cats and I have 5, so that's close
Ooh.
enough.
So there's a lot that's going to be happening in the final arcs of the show. And how are you feeling going into this season?
Oh, I will need to emotionally prepare when we get to some of that. I still remember how I got it spoiled for me because she was trending on Twitter one day, and I was like, "Oh wow, Mitsuri's trending!" Oh no! And then,
No.
I definitely have like a spoiler quote of something she says to Obanai that I write on Funko Pop sometimes if people want, and people have had me sign like fan art of that moment. I'm just like, they're like, how are you gonna prepare? And I was like, man, I mean, I worked on Nier Automata, so I'm no stranger to working on really emotional franchises, but wow.
It is. It's we have a rough go coming up. I feel like I don't know how far this next season is going, but I feel like this is the last happy season.
Yeah.
Um, on to like our favorite thing in the whole world right now, which is Genshin Impact.
Yes.
We love it. So we kind of just want to nerd out because you play as well.
I sure do. I'm
And
AR-58.
yes, okay,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
what I
AR
and
55.
we're both
Woo!
55. So yeah, we kind of just want to like nerd out about Genshin for a little
Absolutely,
while.
I'm here for it.
Um, so like one of my favorite things to like know about somebody is who is your exploration team of 4?
Ooh. So that's always different, and that is kind of based on who I really want to use at the moment. Like I pulled for Father recently, so of course I've been using her a
Yes.
lot, along with like Zhongli and Navia, because I also pulled for Navia a while back, and I really enjoy her as well. And then of course I've always got to have Kuki Shinobu on my team, like always. But you know, my exploration team is literally just like whoever I feel like using at the moment, or sometimes it is based on what I'm doing. Like Wander is really good for exploration, and I mean, I was definitely using the Fontaine characters more when I was doing some of the underwater stuff. But for Abyss, I mean, hands out, my Hyper Bloom team is like my main team, and that is my, you know, tried and true. This is the one. It's Nahida, Xingqiu, Kuki Shinobu, and Alhaitham. And I feel like that team is really, really solid. My second team, I've been changing up a bit. I had it as a freeze team for a while, but lately it's been like Kokomi, Farina, Ridesley, and Kazuha. And I feel like Kazuha really helps in Abyss because there's so many grouped enemies and like the fungi and stuff, and he really helps with the crowd control.
He's my life's pulling him. Ugh.
Yeah. Yeah. He's a quality of life character, and I'll stand by that.
Didn't you interview Mark as well too?
Yeah.
We did.
He's
We
so
actually-
wonderful.
He is. We interviewed him like the day before Kazua's rerun.
Ah.
And it was really funny. So like I know I'm AR-55, but I've actually only been playing for a couple of months. So I haven't
What?
I know.
How'd you get that fast?
That's what I said.
I've been playing 2 years.
Just hang on, okay?
He tells me she's like done stuff that I haven't even had time.
Someone's gonna now comment on this and go, touch grass.
Okay, I'll go to Sumeru and touch grass.
Yeah, literally, there's tons of grass in there. I'm fine. So I haven't pulled on many character banners, and so the Kazuha Nouvellette banner was actually the first character banner I ever pulled on, and I had to tell Mark that Nouvellette was my priority.
Oh.
And but at the same time, Rengoku is my favorite Demon Slayer character, so it like really hurt my soul. And I ended up telling him, I was like, look, I plan on double dipping on this banner. I've been saving all of my wishes since I started playing in January, and I'm planning on doing this. I had 300 saved up, and I did actually end up successfully doing a C1 Nouvellette, and I got Kazuha on my last 10 pull.
Oh, I'm so
Yes,
glad you got
so
him.
I did. It was so exciting. And I was sitting here like, oh my God. Because he kind of made fun of me. He's like, oh, good luck. Every time I've tried to do that, it doesn't work. And I was like, oh my God. He's like, I just get shame and rage. And I was like, oh no. But yeah, on the last 10 pull, I'd actually ended up like using the star glitter that I'd gotten pulling for Nouvellette, and that's what got me enough that last 20 that I needed to where I finally got Kazuha.
Yeah, sometimes it's like emergency reserve that you
Yeah.
gotta dip into.
Yeah, I was saving my star glitter for Bennett.
I
Because
love Bennett.
yes, I'm a huge Killua fan. And so he's like my own little like pocket Killua kind of in
Oh,
another way, because it's the same voice actress and they're really similar. And so but I ended up pulling him on the banner, pulling for Nouvellette. So I was like, I don't have to save this star glitter anymore because I got him.
nice.
Because I was gonna get him in the shop this month. And so that's what did it. It was like it was kind of this nice kismet. And then I did pull father.
Yes.
But that it cost me a pretty penny.
Thankfully, I had saved up. I was like, I knew that I wanted to pull on that banner, and I think the one before it, I ended up skipping, maybe even the two before it. So I was like, okay, I'm ready. Everyone in my Twitch chat was just like all going for her.
Yeah, she's amazing though.
Mm-hmm.
I have no regrets. I
Yeah.
might have spent real dollars on that. Zero regret. Zero.
I definitely spent real dollars on my husbando Ito.
I see, that was the one I had to skip to save for Nouvellette and Kazuha, and I
We're
was
so
so
torn.
sad. And now, like, when the new event is now on his event, which I hope we get new Shinobu content in this event.
Yeah. I still haven't played the new event. I was gonna do it last night and we kind of ran out of time because I had to do Spiral Abyss.
Oh, yeah, no,
And it was horrid.
I was like really sad because obviously Ito has like a big ridiculous monologue and Max Middleman plays him so well. And
Okay.
I was like, oh my God, I'm feeling so sad that I had to skip him. Like, he's just so wonderful.
I love him.
Well, everyone, please wish me luck on Wanderer next week.
Yes.
Yes.
I mean, I'm
doing
guaranteed, but I need to save wishes for if Risley's gonna get that rerun, I need to see one.
Oh no, Katie,
Or-
I feel like your daughter would like Wanderer too, because edgy boy.
I guarantee you she will.
She'll be
It's so
excited
funny
when
because
we co-op.
I don't have Zhao, and so every time we're co-oping together, she runs down this, like, she will get out of bed to get in trouble so she can come down and see Zhao. And then Lindsay like has a bubble thing, a bubble gadget, and she's like,
Yeah,
can
the
he
bubble.
put bubble? Can he whip his spear around? And I'm just like, oh my God. And the other day we're sitting at the dinner table and I don't know what happened, but she just goes, Zhao's my boyfriend. And my husband is like,
Get in line.
excuse me. She loves him.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
think
just
she's
pulled
gonna
him
like,
recently.
I think she's gonna like Wanderer too. And I tested him in like whatever the last event was, and I was like, oh no. But I'm trying to be good, and because I think I want to pull on Clarand and or Al Haytham if the leaks that we've seen are
True.
Oh, El Haytham is so good. Such a good DPS, like especially if you run any Hyper Bloom or any like Dendro-centric teams.
Mhm.
I need a good Dendro. I don't have
It's
one.
real
and
good with Shinobu.
I have Shinobu. I'm a proud Shinobu owner.
Yay!
I have her C1, I like just by chance, and
I have
she is like my
C6.
she is my clutch character though.
He still hasn't come home for me yet.
Oh, and if you have her C6, she can survive with like 1 HP. It's wild.
I'm hoping she goes like on a banner that I'm pulling on so I can just whip that out really quick. I've gotten her C1 like just on the standard, randomly getting
Nice.
extremely lucky. I love her though. I'm like, I don't need to pull for Raiden. I have Shinobu.
So Kira, speaking of C6, do you have anyone else C6 right now?
Only 4-star characters. Usually with the 5 stars, I tend to just I want like every character in the game eventually, which my friend has, and I'm very envious. So I've kind of prioritized like, oh, if there's a new character I want that I don't have, I want to get them. And then when I have everybody someday, then I might want to go back. Like a lot of the 4 stars I've C6 because after a certain amount of time you pull so much that it just happens. And sometimes certain banners, some of them just keep coming home again and again. It's like, cool, I literally already have you at C6.
This is I have like war flashbacks on Nicolette's banner. I was joking that I have a C18 Barbara.
Uh,
I pulled her so many times because I see 3 Duvalette.
Her
I ended
C6
up like
is so useful.
it's not like
For my team, Zhao is
I know. We argue this all the time.
himself.
I don't think she's useful.
See, I have Kokomi, so I'm like, oh, I already have a really good hydro healer.
Yeah, you don't need it. Any my friend, I have another friend I co-op with who has Kokomi, and I'm always like, bring Kokomi into every trounce that we do. I'm like, I don't care if just bring her.
I always need a healer on my teams because I die too easily.
Yeah. Well, she has Zhao, the HP.
I've got
HP
Risley,
Psychic.
who takes care of himself. Kazuha, who for some reason just never takes damage. But Zhao is just like half dead.
Yeah.
Oh.
So
See, that's why
Barbara's
like,
just to him.
Nuvolette and Arlecchino generally take care of themselves.
One of the reasons that I'm glad that I voice a healer is because I'm like, well, I always put a healer on my team. So
she's like, I pair right now in the Abyss. I think I've been putting her with Arlecchino and getting that overload.
Interesting, because I have Yoimiya, which I really like for Pyro as well. So I'm kind of like, oh, maybe I should do an overloaded team. Like I have Yai Miko. I don't know, play around with that.
I love overload. I've like, especially because like, you know, Shinobu's healing and throwing out that Electro. She's the perfect character. I don't know. And so since she's my unlikely hero in the Abyss, do you have an unlikely Abyss hero?
Trying to think, because I feel like all my picks are pretty safe for the most part, but for a while I was using Layla to just because her shield uptime is so good and I have constellations on her and stuff. So when I was doing my freeze team, I would have like Layla, Kokomi, Ganyu, and Kazuha. And I mean, just having those, because Ganyu, I feel like also it really helps if you can have a shield when you're running her. So I don't know, that saved me quite a few times. Everyone calls her Layla.
Yes, I
So
have her
cute too.
She's adorable.
I love it.
I run her with Nuvolette, and I mean, I feel like I could do an Abyss floor with just those two.
Oh yeah, I know people who solo Novelette, and I'm just like, what? Mine's not built quite well enough for that yet, but
He's crazy.
I just hate fighting the seahorse so many times to get his ascension materials.
Oh yeah,
More
I mean,
flashbacks.
yeah, and you know what? They like with the because I'm hoping to get Clarand. She has the same one, and I was like, cool.
No.
Yeah.
You're gonna drag me back there.
I was like, awesome. I get to go do this another 60 times or 40 times, whatever it is. And I was like, great. So I've already started. So I could just
we never have to do Kazuha's again. That's all that I have.
Oh yeah, that one was annoying too.
Have you tried the new Abyss yet, Lindsay?
Like the current one? Yeah.
On 12?
I didn't get to 12 yet.
Oh yeah, well 12-1 is just 3 of them.
I got 0 stars on floor 12
I died.
this time. And I kept having to restart because I would lose like a vital team member. And I was like, well, if my DPS dies, I can't really finish this.
Yep.
Yeah. Because I only have 2 DPS, which is Nuvolette and Arlecchino. I'm sure I could build somebody else for it, but I don't have anyone built yet. And Arlecchino kept dying, even with the shield, and then I was just like, we're done here. And it sucked because I had, what is it, 9 star? I got 3 stars on 9, 10, and 11. And I was feeling like really confident. I was like, oh my God. And then I get to floor 12 and I'm just like, okay. All right.
You know,
I was humbled.
you know why I didn't 9-star floor 11 this time? That damn ley line monolith.
Oh, I could not believe I pulled that off.
So much anxiety.
I was watching the HP and I was like, no, no, no.
And you're trying to take
Somehow I
care,
eked
you're
it
trying to
out.
like lure the enemies to you, and then another one comes out and starts wailing on it, and you're like, cool, I can't deal with all of you at once, even with Kazuha. Ugh.
I need 2 Kazuas.
I need 2 Kazuhas.
Mhm.
Because Zhao doesn't suck them in. He's just blowing everyone away. I'm like, okay, this is not working.
I just like amped. I think I used Arlecchino. I know. I think that was well, Nuvolette. He blasts people with his fire hydrant.
Yeah.
And I was just
Fire
like, cool, man.
hydrant.
I'm like, cool, man, you go. And then Arlecchino, I have her attack so buffed that she was like 3 hitting,
Wow.
and she's crazy, that one.
I still haven't
Um,
gotten great artifacts for her. That's the other eternal, like, tedious thing is just
Mhm.
artifact farming.
I have a
Getting
gladiator.
defense artifacts over and over.
I have. Oh, I know. I have a gladiator set on her right now that's actually doing some work. I was pretty lucky that it's doing enough. I'm still looking for the right ones for Nuvolette though. His crit rate is too low, I'm told.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, well, I don't know. This is all new to me. Who are you pulling on next? I feel like you mentioned it.
Oh, well, I don't know about in terms of upcoming banners, but characters that I still want eventually are Tartaglia. It was literally
boy.
just like somebody mentioned, I thought of like, oh, I want that. Oh, Raiden Shogun.
Okay.
I know there are a few more that because I have a lot of characters at this point, but there's definitely some where it's like, okay, I skipped them when they first came around, but
Mhm.
I like them eventually. Maybe Shen Yun, Bird Mom.
Okay, yeah. Yep. Tartaglia is he's like my second favorite character in the game, and I'm like waiting with bated breath for him to show up for me.
Nice.
Cannot wait.
So you said I was actually going to ask this before you even mentioned it. So you've been playing Honkai Star Rail.
Mm-hmm. Just starting. I'm
All
still
right.
fairly new to it.
have
I
not played this
started
one yet.
playing, I think, like on Christmas, but I'm not very far. I was very humbled going into that. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not great at video games as it is, but like I am very much like my Genshin exploration team is my favorite characters. Like
Uh-huh.
we're gonna make it work. Risley's gonna punch his way out of it. No matter what, it's fine. I'm not worried. Or Barbara will just auto revive people. But no, I've realized that I actually can't have Dan Heng on every team when I'm battling, apparently. Or I will die and rage quit, which keeps happening to me.
You like those Animo Wind Boy characters.
She's like my daughter in terms of like the moody,
Yeah,
like
dark hair and moody. Like there you
the
go.
dark hair emo boys. And so it's just fitting that all of her characters, they're animo, but it's literally just an emo.
Ah,
Yeah.
never thought
Yeah.
about that.
It's
Do you have any
so
characters
appropriate.
that you like playing in Honkai Star Rail yet?
So I actually just did my first pulls on the limited banners and I got Jinglu because I really just shamelessly like her design.
Mhm.
Um, and I've been using her primarily, and then I don't have like since I haven't pulled on other banners aside from like the beginners and standard banner, I don't have another healer, so I just use Natasha because the game gave me Natasha. Um, I've been using Dr. Ratio, and then I kind of rotate my 4th slot. Sometimes I just have the Trailblazer, but kind of depends what I need at the moment.
Yeah, makes sense.
All right, I am not at all familiar with Twitch streaming. I've never watched one. I don't know why. So what goes on in one of your streams? What can a newbie like me to Twitch expect when I go in there?
Chaos.
It's I pulled a Chi-Chi!
Lost 50-50. And I'm feeling really sad.
Okay, I love it already.
I mean, I would say, like, for the most part, I'm a chill streamer. Like, sometimes it's just literally like, oh, gonna wander around and do exploration. But sometimes things just go off the rails. Like, we used to do what we would call the weekly child beating, where we would just go do the weekly boss. And nowadays, it's so often that we need to do other weekly bosses and save the resin for those to farm for materials. But we have a lot of like in-joke stream memes and stuff like that. I do co-op with chat a lot, so it just depends. Like sometimes we'll farm artifact domains or talents, and then we always try to do like some weekly bosses, and it just kind of depends what I need for leveling up my characters, because it really helps to do it with other people. And when the little cat cafe event happened, it was just like freaking out over how cute the cats were the whole time. And
Look, when we got to take that big guy home, I was thrilled. Like, he's wandering around my house, right? I immediately went to my teapot and was like, welcome home, buddy.
I love it. And then I'm a cow tuber, so we call it the cow-munity, and like moving on into the stream, and like the time is cow is our slogan.
Love a
I
good
love
one.
it. I love it. Okay. We have our rapid fire now. This is like my favorite part.
Okay.
Some of these it's me versus Lindsay in some of these questions.
All right.
So, just keep it in mind. There is one that her and I get contentious on. And then Mark agreed with me, and then somehow, because Mark is Mark, ended up then going to the middle. And I was like, hang on. I had this one in the bag.
Say the first thing that comes to mind.
Yeah, first thing that comes to my knee-jerk reaction.
Okay.
Your favorite Genshin region?
Inazuma.
Okay. As long as it's not Sumeru, because Lindsay and Mark are just crazy for that one.
On Sumeru.
There were a lot of things that I hated constantly being attacked by mushrooms whenever I go somewhere.
So many. I mean, Kazuha makes it better.
Mm-hmm.
But keep me out of that desert forever.
And some of the farming was really obnoxious to have to do there. Like I needed so many of like those blue mushrooms.
I don't want to talk about
the lotuses.
The lotuses.
And then I would use Tainari to track them on the map, and you can like collect them with Nahida's skill and stuff, but even then I get attacked by fungi, and I'm just like, I'm trying, or like the cryo whopper flower that just comes out and ambushes you, and I'm like, bro, just let me get my materials.
Like, I don't want to deal with you. I'm currently looking for those sand grease whatevers, because I'm like,
I have those for I'll hate them.
And I'm like, you're better than this. I'll hate them.
I know. There's like one cave where there's a bunch of them, and I would just routinely go in there. But yeah, Risley needs those beetle things that are so annoying to get.
I warned her when she was like, I want to pull on him. I was like, you can have fun finding them.
My map is a mess.
I like grab them anytime I see them, and I went to like look at my stores the other day, and I have like 50. And I was like, but I've been grabbing these like every day for months. What do you mean I only have 50?
Yep, and then I mark them on my map whenever I see them, so my Fontaine map is such a mess because it's just like little icons everywhere, like here's some and here's some and here's like flowers here that you need, so many rainbow roses now, and
Yes. Lindsay's currently collecting the blue mushrooms.
ugh,
That's gonna be my night tonight, preparing for next week.
hate it.
Okay. Who is the Hashira that you're bringing along? That's not Mitsuri. You are Mitsuri. What Hashira are you bringing along? to pair up
Rengoku.
with?
All right.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
What is your favorite Zelda game?
Ocarina of Time. Classic for a reason.
Hell yeah.
Did you like the newer ones?
I actually didn't play too much. I haven't played Tears of the Kingdom because I never actually finished Breath of the Wild, shamefully. I need to go back one of these days and just be like, let me play the backlog of games I never finished.
I feel that. Who is your starter Pokemon from the original 3?
Bulbasaur.
Hell yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Same here.
That is always the answer. I feel like such an odd person out.
Which one's yours?
Charmander.
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of Charmanders too.
Me too, but like every time we ask, it's always okay. Fine. What's your favorite Girl Scout cookie?
S'mores or just the original ones?
All right.
Okay. All right. As long as it's not the purple box. No. This is a big one,
Very contentious.
but not between us.
Not
Just
between us.
we agree on it. Crocs, yes or no?
Sorry, I didn't hear the
Oh.
question.
Make sure my Crocs.
No, Zoom just
Oh,
like
okay. My
cut
microphone
you
wasn't
out.
working either earlier. Crocs, yes or no?
If you're just wanting to run an errand and be comfortable, sure, but Crocs with socks in public at a social occasion, can't get into it.
Oh, I can understand the
Fun.
social occasion. I get
if you're
that.
just running errands, you do you.
Yeah.
You be comfortable. I definitely have cave gremlin days, as I call them, but
We're
I turned
huge
30 and
Crocs.
the Crocs went on. What is your desert island video game? So if you can only bring one, and you're stuck on a desert island.
Is it terrible if I say Genshin Impact?
No, because that's mine.
You will never
That's
run out of things to do in that game.
That's the only way I'm gonna get caught up. So.
right?
How else am I supposed to collect sand grease things? I need endless time.
All right, so here's the real one.
Here's the real one. The
Pineapple on
last
pizza.
one. Oh.
Yes.
Mm.
I saw an edit. One of my favorite memes about that is this edit of Dio with a slice of pineapple pizza in his hand saying, "I reject my humanity, JoJo!"
Crazy talk. Okay, wait, I have another one. Actually, let's just add one more. Cilantro, yes or no? Just in general.
In the middle, like
Okay.
a little goes a long way. I don't hate it. I don't have the soap gene that some of my friends have, but
Yes.
it can easily overpower something.
Lindsay has the soap
I
gene.
can't.
Oh no.
But like, if I'm at her house and she's cooking, she has to look me dead in the eye as she's putting the cilantro elsewhere. Because I'm like, I will taste it. Keep it
Yeah,
far
that's
away.
how I am with any like licorice flavored things. I
Mm.
hate the taste of licorice
That's
in anything, and
nasty.
I can always